Y'all know what it is. It's time for that boom back breakfast right here on Black Power Media, and we came here to give it to you. Who do I got with me today? I got no other than Jockey Lukeman, Kamal K. Franklin, and Burn It Down Kim Brown.
Now you got the guns out today, son.
Hey,
Look at him. Look at
You
him.
used to work before.
Hey,
Oh,
we
summer.
starting our fall fund drive, so I had to had to oil it up. Come out here.
With a calendar,
Hey.
you gonna grease it all up. You're gonna grease it up.
Get your moves ready. Get your.
Get my- That ain't enough.
No.
That ain't gonna bring in the
That's
big
gonna get some
money.
money. Is that gonna get some money in?
No, that might get rolls of quarters. That might get you done.
Then you might get hit in the head with. So.
Word. What's good, everybody? Good to see y'all.
Good.
Good to be
Jackie,
seen.
I know, Jackie. How are you doing? I miss
I'm-
you.
I miss you too.
Oh.
I miss you. Yeah.
Are we doing climax or is that Aaron Hall? Which one was that?
I thought it was climax. I thought it was climax.
That was climax. That's the
No other
only,
way to
that's
say
the
it.
only one. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Things are moving really, really fast. Y'all don't want to hear all the gory details, but
Why not?
Oh, please.
Of course we do. What you mean?
I mean,
Jackie's not being in your business.
I've had this catheter inserted
Oh.
in my abdomen for peritoneal dialysis. So,
Oh.
and that was supposed to be an easy, simple, hey, it's just they go in and they just put it in there and they send you home. Well, I had a lot of scar tissue from previous surgery, so they had to cut that away. So I was in a lot of pain for a few days, but I'm healing up, and tomorrow I have to go and get the bandages changed, and they flush the catheter for the first time to make sure it's not clogged or anything. And then they start me on peritoneal dialysis, which I'll do at home probably within the next week or two after that. So then in the next week, the week after that, I have the meeting with the MedStar Washington kidney transplant team. So yeah, all of this that they're putting me on the transplant list. Like, I think my doctor already did it because my GFR numbers are so low. So if your GFR numbers, if your kidney function is below 20%, they put you on the transplant list before you even get evaluated for, to be approved to be on the transplant list. So that's already happened. I just meet with these people with my support person, who is my Auntie Clara. And they'll explain all the process, but they already sent all the information, and I'm going through all this information, and yeah.
That sounds like a lot, Jackie. I mean, that sounds like a lot. And I'm sorry, I really would like to ask this question. I mean, if people want to find out if they are a match for you to potentially donate to you, I mean, how does that process work? Are you just on the list? But if somebody come up with that kidney, you can just get that kidney, right?
Yeah. So if y'all want to throw a kidney at a sister, that's cool. That's I mean,
I got you.
Real talk.
So yeah, they actually, this is one of the few instances where American healthcare actually works and makes sense, and it's completely typical in the fucked up capitalist fashion that it is. But a couple of things, like, the reason I'm able to do home dialysis is because a few years ago, like a year before COVID hit, home dialysis was limited to rich people, pretty much. Everybody else who didn't have the money to do dialysis at home had to go to these dialysis centers. And the nephrologists, the kidney specialists, the dialysis nurses, they were not feeling this because hemodialysis is really hard on the body and everybody doesn't need to do it. So then COVID hit. And what happened was people who were on dialysis in these centers were contracting COVID and dying. And I mean, it was not widely reported, but I remember reading about this. So my nephrologist and my dialysis nurses were telling me that the reason home dialysis is almost the standard now, if patients are healthy enough to do it, is because of the resistance from within the medical community to force the medical community to make home dialysis more available and accessible to everybody, because people were dying getting dialysis in these kidney centers. So, and it wasn't because people were not caring about the patients. It's just you have all these people packed in this small space, and that it would really, in the early days of the pandemic, you couldn't control that shit, right? And people were already severely immunocompromised because they're on dialysis, because they have kidney disease, so it was just terrible. So that's one aspect that is like, I'm like the beneficiary of a revolt within the medical system because of this pandemic. That
It
people were
always
like,
takes a little action. Yeah, it always takes a
yeah,
little action to get something
yeah,
done.
that people were seeing our people dying in particular, and Native American people, and First Nations people, and folks, because we're the ones who suffer from kidney disease at a higher rate than other folks,
Okay.
right? So that's one thing. So the other thing is that I think a law was passed in the United States that said that even if you don't have health insurance, even if you cannot pay for kidney treatment, that there is no hospital that will deny you treatment in the United States if you are in end stage kidney failure. They must provide transplant information. They must put you on the transplant list. They must provide dialysis for you. They must treat you the same way that they would treat someone who has insurance and who has money to pay. So I didn't even know that was a thing. So that like leads to me to like this like, so if we can do that for people who have kidney disease in this country, don't tell me we can't do that for everybody, for everything. Don't tell me we can't make sure that everybody in this country has the health care that they need. And I do have to tell you, because I have good insurance, I know that I'm getting a better level of care than folks who don't have insurance will get, because I wouldn't be getting, I mean, I I am the nephrologist I have is amazing, Dr. Cosette Jameson at Metro Renal Associates at Washington Hospital Center. I'm gonna shout these people out. They are amazing. She's Caribbean. Her partner is Black. Most of the staff is Black, and they are truly, truly caring, hands-on. Don't fuck around. They're not playing around with anybody's anything. They have this amazing network of dialysis centers, nurses, specialists. They are hands on with the transplant team. They're not making decisions, the transplant team, without my doctor, Dr. Jameson, weighing in on this. That's the shit, right? That's just like, but everybody doesn't get that level of care
Yeah,
because
yeah.
everybody cannot afford, so yeah, it's a lot, but I'm surrounded by good medical people, but I'm also surrounded by y'all. But one of the
I'm gonna
things,
have to fly out. I'm gonna have to
I
fly out.
mean, seriously, hold on. But Jackie,
yeah,
again,
but real quick, but to answer your question in a roundabout, one of the things that they do at MedStar is that they provide you a way to set up a website to give people information on how to get tested and how to see if they are a match. So I have to do
Wow.
that.
yes,
I'm going to do that.
yes,
Yeah, that's like on my list of things to do. I got to do that this week. So I've set the website up. That we'll go over the website, and yeah, but that's all coming. That is all coming.
Well, listen, Jackie, we're gonna continue to send healing energy your way. And I'm not a doctor, but that medical talk is above my pay grade. I want to give a quick shout out to Moreau Museum, new member, and also Roberto Ricketts.
Roberto.
What is that? Rickard.
Roberto.
Rickard.
Rickards.
Okay.
Or Ricards.
But that's what it is. I catch you on the break. Peace.
Roberto.
Man, got Dr. all in his name talking about I ain't a doctor.
And the doctor.
Aren't you the ear doctor, sir? I ain't a doctor. No, Jackie, seriously, we need that website up, seriously. Because I mean, I have an uncle who is also, dealing with kidney disease. Long story short, I mean, I have tried to offer this person my kidney. I'm like, oh, you sure you don't want this kidney? And he refuses. So I'm like, I gotta right here.
Wait a minute, are you a match?
For my uncle, I'm not even sure. He wouldn't even go that far. We're both the same blood type. And there's other things going on, but the short story of it is my uncle and I are the same blood type, but I don't know if we were the same exact blood type. You feel me? So that's why, Jackie, I had asked you on a previous occasion what your blood type was, because I'm like, if Jackie say that magic letter, and
I don't even remember what my blood type is. Isn't that crazy?
I seriously cannot. I used to have I used to donate blood pretty frequently.
Yeah.
And the Red Cross used to give you a card.
Yes.
With your blood type on it. That's
right.
the only way I can remember. And now I've lost it, so I don't know what my blood.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I was like, I might be B+, O negative.
I think it's important for people to know what the blood B12. Shut up. But I mean, for this purposes, because again, Jackie, I don't know how kidneys work and everything, but blood type is a important factor, right? Like you have to match at least the blood type, right? For a person to donate to you.
Actually, I'm not sure that's entirely true anymore. I think you have to, and this is all new to me. I'm taking it all in. This stuff really is above my pay grade. I don't know. When they say that the person is a match, I think they mean like a tissue match, which might be different from a blood type match, because it seems to me that unless you have a rare blood type, that your blood type doesn't even almost matter anymore, because they have some type of universal kind of blood, I don't know, vampire substitute that they created in a lab. I don't know. It might not be just blood type. It might be something more specific, but I honestly don't know exactly what that is yet.
We'll find that out, y'all. That's going to be your task, and my task is to find out our blood type and find out what the qualifications are. Yeah. I'm sure my blood type is rare, of course, because it's just who I am. Just want to throw that in there. But let's find out for sure, so that we can see whatever kind of support we can give and stuff like that.
So I know for a fact that I have anyway, because I'm like y'all, I have donated blood to the Red Cross, and the Red Cross did me dirty once, and I have not been back. So, but that's another story. But anyway, girl, okay, I'll tell you real quick. So I went to donate blood at the Red Cross Center, maybe someplace in Howard County, maybe it wasn't. And so they had stuck me, right? But the lady, what did the people that withdraw the blood, Jackie? Phlebotomist? Say
phlebotomist.
Phlebotomist.
Mm-hmm. Phlebotomist? Is that it?
Yeah.
Is it the brain thing? Oh, that's lobotomy. My bad.
We apologize, remixers. No one's awake yet. Okay, I'm still working. Give me about 30 more minutes. I'll be up. Anyway, so the phlebotomist stuck me, right? She must have stuck me in the wrong spot. When I tell you blood went everywhere, blood went all over the table, blood was all over the floor. I was like, fuck. Like, I mean, I'm sitting here like hollering in this center. I said, Red Cross, y'all not giving me again. But I like to donate blood because my blood is compatible with people who have sickle cell. And allegedly, at least according to the Red Cross, only 2% of African Americans have my blood type.
Wow.
So it's important, what I'm saying, for people to learn their blood type. I know how we feel about the Red Cross, and you don't even always have to donate blood to the Red Cross. I called Children's Hospital down here in DC. They have a ongoing blood drive where you could just show up to hospitals sometimes and just give blood. So find out your blood type, everybody. Jacqueline Lukman, you find out this process for this kidney giving donation. Because I think people are gonna step up for you, Jackie. I mean, period, point blank, we need you here, okay? Like you are needed here on the planet. We got a kidney for Jackie. Somebody got a kidney out here for Jackie. If it's me, then it's gonna be me. But if it ain't me, it need to be somebody out here in this remix chat room.
None of y'all who like to drink a lot. I know that's the liver. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't need
Get
your
a healthy
blue
one
kidney.
donated.
I don't. That doesn't.
Does
You
too much
do have
weed
to
disqualify
pass
you
it.
from giving a kidney?
Huh?
Too much weed disqualify you from giving a kidney, you think?
Absolutely not.
I,
Absolutely
I'm
not.
just checking. I'm just
I
asking.
actually don't think so. I actually don't think
Just
so. I do. I know you have to pass a physical screening,
Uh-huh.
but you have to be healthy. But
Mhm.
I can't see how that would preclude anybody, and I would not refuse one. Thank you for the
Of
extra mellowness. And
Who built in.
My kidney is coming with THC with a slow release through that tissue.
extended release.
Oh, but yeah, Eric, remixers, be watching this space because we are going to get educated on this process because our good sis needs a kidney, so we're going to get on that. Chop chop.
Yay. Are we gonna bring back up the ear doctor for our first break?
Yeah,
Is that what
Lex,
he's
what are you
lurking back
doing?
there? Were you supposed to come on? Did I do that right?
Yeah, you did it right. It's about time. Hey, real quick, how much them bags of blood cost, Kim?
Oh, how much?
How much they give?
How much they giving?
Apparently there is a process where you can sell your blood. I am not familiar with that process, or I'd have been selling blood this whole time. I'm giving it away for free like a dummy.
You fancy.
That is the first when they kept saying, y'all both said like I used to always get blood. But the first thought, of course, in your mind is like, what drug were y'all on? Did y'all give my money? That's the first thing that comes across these days. And you think
that's terrible.
I ain't that giving yet. I need to mature maybe.
You've never given blood?
Nah.
In your life?
No.
You are a terrible human.
Don't say that, Jackie. Don't say that. Most people don't give out blood. You like they said that
I don't trust hospitals. My bad.
It's a very small percentage of people that actually donate blood. It's only
It's
like
been a while since
30% of
I've
the
given
population.
but I've given.
The people need your blood, your doctor.
You gotta have
all that blood you got in there.
Nah.
You regenerate it too.
They don't need this blood. But
share. Be a good socialist. Share.
Hey, okay.
I don't really go.
People gonna hate us for that. It is speaking of hate. We got an announcement about hate, ear doctor.
Oh yeah. We got the hate mail coming. What is it? Tomorrow at 10:15 for our members.
Live. We supposed to tell everybody about this. This includes y'all. We late with the memos. So we just and we want, if y'all are free, we want y'all to come on. That's you, Kim and Jackie.
What time?
So what we are talking about is we want for everybody in the chat, folks, to whatever questions they got, including critical questions about us and/or the platform. We're going to do a special members only question answering. We've termed it like the hate mailbag or something like that. Just in case we get some. Y'all can ask all about Jared's pettiness. I suggest y'all ask all about that. Why he always up in the chat, that kind of shit. That's what we want to get at.
Yeah. Any and every question we taking, you know what I'm saying? So please go ahead. What up?
Did y'all have a meeting? I saw an email. Did that meeting happen last night? Did I miss this? Like what?
No, that's what next week?
That's like No, we just talked after the show.
Yeah.
It's like, what we need to do, a members only thing or a Patreon thing. We haven't done one for a while.
Yeah.
We came up with a brilliant idea.
Brilliant.
And make sure
the brilliance. This is a brilliant idea.
Make sure we give y'all something every month on Patreon. We gotta make sure we do that because we can't just talk it and not do it. So that's what we are going to do.
So if y'all want to drop questions in the chat, y'all want to drop them on Twitter, or y'all want to DM them, whatever they are. We are going to be answering questions 10:15 tomorrow.
In the morning?
Yeah,
bro. Jackie might be on. Kim might be on with her shocked face. I think her schedule is open. That's why she's contemplating.
I am contemplating, but see, y'all.
I know.
Y'all are inviting a strange energy here, and I don't know. Do I want to participate in that? Like, yeah, Kim, remember that time in March you said? I'm like, hold on, wait.
I got some questions. I got some questions about your mama, Kim. I got some questions.
Hey!
How'd that sound?
Hey, she's a...
Tell him come out. How'd that sound? Ear doctor.
How'd that sound, B?
Listen.
You be making no inquiries about my mother, ear doctor.
She's honorable and a scholar. What are you talking about?
It's honorable.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask her a couple questions.
Miss Jean is a saint, and don't you niggas forget it.
On that note, let's take our break and let's so drop your questions in the chat again on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, for those who still use it. Whatever it is that you use, drop questions, comments that you want to have answered or talked about. We're going to address it tomorrow at 10:15. And then it's going to be members only. So folks, when they jump on at 10:15, you can also drop questions there.
All right. Well, let's take our quick break right here on the Remix Morning Show. What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, Sun's Out, Guns Out. Big up to all y'all out there. Thank y'all for tuning in. And like we say always, make sure y'all hit that like button at the bottom of the screen. Subscribe if you haven't already. And go to patreon.com and become a member so y'all can make sure y'all check out that hate mail segment we're going to do every month. That way you get a close, personal back and forth with your host right here on the Remix Morning Show and on Black Power Media. That's right. All right, so let's get to it real quick. Right now, I wanted to give a shout out. You see, I'm down in the island, so who am I going to talk about? Yesterday, we had the Honorable Messiah Garvey came through on his birthday, his born day, so we had to give him a shout out. But, you know, you can never have a brother, you know, do the things he did without having a sister by his side. So who are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about Amy Jacques Garvey. That's right. She was Jamaican born. She was a journalist and an activist in her own right. She was one of the pioneering female Black journalists and publicists of the 20th century. That's right. So she came through straight from Kingston, Jamaica, right in 1895. She was looked at as being a mulatta at the time. I don't really see it in the picture, but that's what it was. Her mother was white. Her father was Black. I don't see what that got to do much with it. But anyway, she did a thing in school. Next thing you know, she wanted to learn about being in the law field. So she got into being into the lawyers, dealt with them. And then next thing you know, she's like, listen, I got to go to America. She goes to America. And then she gets caught up in Garveyism. Next thing you know, she meets Marcus Garvey. And they wind up getting married. She attended a conference that Marcus Garvey was at, moved by his words, and alongside him, she wound up being part of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. She also became involved in publishing the Negro World newspaper from Harlem, and she also put out some books. She came out with 3 books, The Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, Volume 1, The Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, Volume 2, and Garvey and Garveyism. And she actually sat down and did the editing on that book with Dr. John Henry Clark. So big up to her. If you don't know, we always got to make sure we have a sister on our side so we can make moves. So big up to Amy Jacques Garvey. Let's get back to the Remix Morning Show, y'all. All right, let's do it. Bam.
Yes.
You stay high. You stay high, don't you, Doctor?
I think so. I think
you do. I think you do. I think you do. I think you just stay.
What prompted that observation, Kamal?
Well, you know, I mean, there were several mispronunciations, including journalists. Did you say journalists? Journalists? Journalists?
I did.
Like, what the hell? And did you said that? And I can't remember this offhand, but I think you did say, I was kind of rushing back. I had to, had to go to the bathroom.
Oh my goodness.
But did you just say something like her mom was Black, her father was white, and then I don't know why they called her mulatto?
What the heck that has to do with it?
It's like the very definition of a mulatto.
You know, you read about people's history, you're like, why do they even say this? Okay.
Why you bring it up then if you're not going to follow it? That's what a mulatto is. It's a mixed parentage. That's what whether you like the term or not, that's what the fuck it is. It's not like, don't bring the shit up then. You got a stream of consciousness show.
Well, I had to bring up old shit, right?
You had to bring up all this shit.
Where Brooklyn at?
Like,
Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at?
Big up to the Garvey, Joe.
big up to the Garvey. Messiah Garvey. Not Marcus Messiah Garvey. You know what I'm saying? Messiah Garvey. His fucking name wasn't Messiah Garvey. What's wrong with you?
Please, now let his shirt go. Stop dragging this man. Please, just let him go. Stop it. I'm crying.
I'm out of here, y'all. Catch you on this.
Is this what you used to do to people in Crown Heights? Come out, just drag them up down the street, huh?
That was the game, son. That was the game. You know what I'm saying? That's how we used to treat. That's how you know we loved each other. That's how we treated you. If I treat you extra bad, that's how you know I love you, right?
Oh
That's how
my gosh.
People you're really, really overly nice to is like you really just don't want. You're just like, that'd be nice to get you away from me. All right. So I mean, look. The ear doctor has a fan. Let me just put that up real quick before we get to do our thing.
Jesus.
Wait, where's that at?
You hear the shade, Jackie? You hear that shade? Ear doctor has a fan. Listen to this.
Ear doctor says better stuff by accident than you say on purpose, Kamal. I respect that gangster. Love the ear doctor. Y'all ready? Come on, y'all want to do the map? Want to do the map real quick?
Okay, yes, please.
News.
Still.
Ain't y'all ready for the news?
Oh, it's just, I don't know what to do.
Hey, man, get back to the news. I'm playing.
No, don't go.
All right, I'm gonna start with a story. Y'all pull it together back there. Let me pull up the story. All right, so this is the story.
Get it together, Kim.
Kamal said, "You stay high all the time, don't you?" That was the first thing he said. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm crying, laughing. I need to stop. I'm sorry.
All right, what is quiet quitting? I thought this was a cool article. Gen Z is ditching hustle culture to avoid burnout. I don't know how true this is, but I just thought it was interesting in terms of like, one is a corporate take on how workers are behaving. And so I just thought it was like interesting. So tired of feeling like I'm not gonna read the whole article, of course, but tired of feeling like you're working so hard with little reward, but don't necessarily want to completely give up. Try quiet quitting, or quitting the idea of going above and beyond at work as TikToker. That's where you get your information from. Put his viral video that racked up more than 3 million views and nearly 500,000 likes. So basically, this article is about how folks are, instead of going over and above what's asked of you at the job or to seek promotions, folks are trying to avoid burnout. And it says, millennials and everybody else are trying to cool down and just have meet the general requirements at work. And this is also paired with the idea of the so-called Great Resignation, where a lot of folks are deciding that they want to just leave their jobs because they're not happy in them. The pay is not good. It's not worth the hustle and bustle or the demands that are put on them or the work conditions. And so folks are talking about doing both of those. How do you feel about that?
That's some bullshit.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
That is some new capitalist nonsense.
No, I disagree.
No, I mean the description of it. Calling it this thing. Oh, it's quiet quitting. It's just some new capitalist nonsense to shame people who have figured out, y'all don't pay me to give you all of my everything on this job for this little bit of piece of money. So I'm going to give you what you pay me for and not a bit more. That's it. I'm not going to work overtime. I'm not going to do extra stuff. I'm not going to train new people. I'm not going to pretend like we're a family and we're a team. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to clock in. I'm going to do this job that's on my job description. I'm going to enjoy my lunch hour. I'm going to take I'm going to take my vacations. I don't want to be in meetings with the president, the CEO. I don't want to do your team building exercises. And then at 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5:30, I'm clocking out. I'm going home and I'm not on call. That is work-life balance. That's what that is. That is people figuring out that these companies don't own them body and soul. So they don't have to like go to work and pretend like this job is their everything. They're like, no, it's not. It pays my rent. That's and just barely for a lot of places. So they're like, nope. I'm not doing that. That's not my job description. That's really what that them calling this some other thing is just another way for the capitalist the capitalists to shame folks for not working themselves to death. That's how I see that.
So I never heard that term before until I had Dr. Nyasha Grayson on my show talking about mental health as we are dealing with, the rise of fascism and the falling of the empire. And, how do you stay normal and happy during that process? And she used that term, quiet quitting. I never heard it before. And I'm like, that just when the phrase just lands with me, because I have quiet quit on a number of jobs, and then I went and loud quit later. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely quiet quit beforehand. And it's something that I support. I'm glad that the kids have peeped the game early and often and are sort of plotting their course accordingly, understanding that, like everything you just said, Jackie, there's no point of getting there early and staying there late because the people who are in charge usually don't appreciate it. They are not going to compensate you for your extra work, your extra labor, the extra added value that you bring to the job. So don't do none of that shit. Save that shit for yourself or whatever projects that you feel deserve that level of your attention and energy. But yeah, I like this. I like this. Quiet quit, kids, and then go quit loud.
I hope it's true because I always feel like, I mean, again, they've been talking about the great resignations and now they have the quiet quitting thing. And I think Jared spoke about this a few weeks ago, and maybe you guys had a whole segment, or he had a part of the show in it around the capitalist propaganda of like what working hard is, or like the whole thing around we're taught that everything is about hard work, particularly again at the job, not only to advance, but to show what a diligent or committed human being you are to work. And it's really a propaganda game to get us to do things that we're doing because we need to make some money because this is how the system is set up. But it's like, ain't nobody enjoying that shit. Nobody enjoying sewing like 25 hours, like or 15 hours a day or whatever like that. Nobody's enjoying moving your boxes like they all happy and cheerful at Amazon for like 10 to 12 hours a day for like minimum wage or something like that. Like who's really happy about that? So you may enjoy working with your colleagues, your work friends, and all that kind of stuff. You got some jokes, you do some things during your break to keep you up and going. But it's not like people are actually enjoying that or they see that necessarily as like their life thing. And even if people realize it's like, this is how I put food on the table for me and my family, it's like, of course, why even put the pretend notion out there that I need to strive extra hard to move your box? But the companies are also, I think another article I saw someplace else is that then they're also doing these work evaluations around, you get some gold star if you show yourself to do this, or you show yourself to do that. And, again, they make it so that people fall for it because that's the propaganda that they get.
And I'm glad that the millennials, that the kids are, and the Gen Zs are not falling for what we fell for with this. We're a team, we're a family. We all pull our extra weight in the workplace of all that bullshit. I'm glad they're not falling for it. I do wish they were more inclined toward organizing in this effort, because it's great that people, that that individuals are like fuck all this extra shit, right? Y'all are not my family. You don't pay me to know. But that doesn't change the nature of the workplace. That doesn't change the conditions for other workers. It doesn't change the exploitive nature of the bosses of capitalism. So while it's great that individual people are like, nope, checking out 9 to 5, that's what you paid me for, that's what you're gonna get. I wish that there was a excuse me, a push toward greater organizing in this. And I hope I see that happening.
I think we are seeing that happen, Jackie. I think in particular, I'm thinking of like the Starbucks Workers Union, and I'm thinking specifically of a 19-year-old in Arizona. Her name is Lola Dalton. She is mixing it up with Starbucks right now because Starbucks engaged in a bunch of unfair labor practices against her. I believe they fired her illegally. Anyway, but I'm just using her as an example of Gen Zers peeping game and getting organized and organizing their coworkers and their colleagues. And I think this latest unionization wave that we've been seeing here in the US for the past year or so, I think Gen Zers are actually a big engine of that. So I appreciate that for them and about them. But the quiet quitting thing, I wonder how this applies more specifically to like Black people, and even more specifically than that to Black women, because, I got a degree, whatever the fuck that shit is worth. And anytime I was working on a job, I always felt as though the company was getting the Black woman discount from me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I'm the lowest paid person here, probably. You know what I'm saying? Between the white men, white women, even the Black men, I'm probably the lowest paid person here. So you're already getting a discount for my labor. Just by virtue of you opening the door for me. And everybody can talk about, well, you need to negotiate, that's all well and good, but let's check the statistics that Black women are usually, and Latina women are usually the lowest paid people wanting to get on the job, right? So I support Black women specifically quiet quitting on your fucking job, because they're already getting you for a discount anyway. They're already getting you for 30% off anyway. So go ahead, quiet quit on their ass, give them the bare minimum that just keeps you there in that position.
So let me do a quick. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jack.
No, I'm sorry. Just real quick. They blew me. They really blew me when they came out with this. Well, you should be negotiating your pay. Remember when that was a big thing, when there was like, oh, you don't get paid what you're worth because you don't negotiate your pay. And here I am, a whole ass Black woman in a whole ass white capitalist system. Like, are you serious? What? Okay.
Well, you didn't negotiate. Well, clearly they didn't see it fit to pay me. Like, what are you saying?
Also, so quickly tied to this story in some way, and I think we brought this up, but we didn't really. I think maybe even the ear doctor brought this up, but we didn't talk about it yesterday. Was Rick Ross is fined for labor law violations at Mississippi Wingstop locations. Now, your shit got to be pretty bad if Mississippi fines you. Let me just start with that. The Department of Labor found the rapper's company violated minimum wage, overtime, and child labor regulations. So, for instance, Rick Ross, through his business entity, Boss Wings Enterprises, has been fined by the Labor Department. The company has been forced to pay $114,000 in back wages, liquidated damages, and civil penalties. It says here that investigators found that Ross's company illegally forced employees to pay for their own uniforms, trainings, and background checks, as well as cover cash register shortages, bringing the affected employees' average wages below the federal minimum of $7.25.
Gross.
They also allowed a 15-year-old employee to work past 10 p.m. on several occasions. And so there's just a list of things like that Rick Ross, your boy, has done, which, we were talking yesterday about where can you, what companies can you possibly go to in order to get feel like you're getting something quality and they're practicing fair labor status. That's why we need a revolution, because it ain't gonna happen, right? None of these folks are really interested at all in making sure that their employees are taken care of. There might be a couple out there, but for the most part, it's viewed on the exploitation. And so he's going to get away with what he thinks he can get away with until something like this happens. He gets exposed or reported. And again, he just because he's a celebrity, it becomes an interesting story. But I'm sure what he does is nothing compared to the scale of like the Amazons or the Walmarts, even the Starbucks, the large multinational corporations. But it's just like, as we see, these Black capitalists, when they get their resources, they don't think about what they're going to do to improve the Black community and how better they're going to make it. This is all just, it'll be a show. It's like, look, it's a Black-owned business, but behind the scenes, it's the same exploitation as anybody else.
Shameful.
And didn't Rick Ross put out a book? I won't say he wrote it, but didn't he put out a book that had something to do with, extolling the virtues of financial literacy and what part of financial literacy was any of this?
Exploiting the labor, Jackie, duh.
Which one of the financial literacy steps are people supposed to follow when their wages are being stolen? And which steps in the financial literacy rubric that they talked about at InvestFest, which ones are these?
You got to negotiate that minimum wage salary, Jackie.
You got to negotiate whether you cover the shortage in your drawer or not.
Jesus.
So you came up
making the cashiers come out of their own pocket to cover shortages in the register. Lord have mercy.
That's some deep shit.
Oh.
And then it says, yeah, you got to work hard so you can be the manager of my joint. So that's what you got to work hard. So one day you can be the manager of my joint, and then you can catch the other workers stealing, and then I'll consider you a good boy for doing that or whatever. That's what you work hard for, right? So you can be right under me.
We also need to adjust the way the community collects these folks. I'm talking about people like Rick Ross and people that exploit and, people, working these hourly wage jobs in the community, because Rick Ross has a ginormous mansion. Like he wears all this jewelry, he got the Maybachs and the Bugattis. And it's like, dog, why don't you flex on us by paying your workers $20 an hour? Like, let that be the flex. Why don't you not spend $3 million on that necklace and actually pay your workers $25 an hour? Like that, let that be the flex that we size people up for. You know what I mean?
I think somebody's mansion should be protested. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think some people should not be allowed to sleep at night for the people, but those are just my thoughts.
I think he's out here in Atlanta. So
I thought it was in Florida, or he might have several mansions. He may have several mansions.
He probably does have.
Look,
but I thought I saw an aerial shot of Rick Ross's Florida mansion, and it is really big. It's really big. It's extremely large. It's a very big place. Yeah. He can afford to pay them people at the end of the day.
That's how out of it I am too. I can't even name one Rick Ross song. You know what I mean? Like I know,
I can't name one past 2006. I knew Every Day I'm Hustling, and I'm aware that the man has had a career since Every Day I'm Hustling, but I don't like Rick Ross.
I know Every Day I'm Hustling.
That's pretty much the only one I remember.
I didn't even know that was Rick Ross. That's okay.
Hold on, let me hop on this. Let me hop on this soapbox real quick. Millennials, let me have a conversation with y'all, because y'all let Rick Ross in the space of rap to be a lauded rapper, and y'all knew he was the police. Y'all knew he was the police. Like that. Again, blows my fucking mind. Like niggas knew he was the actual police, and they like, yeah, Rick Ross got right. Nigga, he's a fucking cop, a whole ass correctional officer. Who let this man in here? Who spun his records? Ear doctor, show yourself. I know you spun them Rick Ross records in 06, and you knew he was the police.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. Every time Rick Ross come up, that shit always gets my blood pressure going. I'm like, hold on. Y'all knew he was a cop. Pictures of him being a cop. 50 Cent was blasting this nigga out as a cop. And everybody was like, Ross.
And he stole some dude's name, right? He stole that dude's name.
Freeway Ross.
Freeway Rick Ross. Yes, he did.
Oh my God, fraud top to bottom. And here he is still frauding.
And I love the way the actual Rick Ross was just, and that nigga was a whole ass cop. To make it even worse, that nigga stole my name and he a whole ass cop.
I think he even sued him and lost. You know what
He
I'm
did
saying?
sue him and
He
lost.
Yeah.
That's right. He lost. I was upset about that because I just knew Freeway Ricky Ross had a legitimate case to get his name back from that cop.
Lord have mercy. I needed this laugh today, y'all. I mean, but that mansion, though, I'm
Girl.
sorry.
Yeah, I need to put that back up for a second.
that back
Who
up.
put that? Who put that up?
Yeah,
Because
it's
that
kind
was
of
just
crazy.
extraordinarily just
It's
But that is
ambitious.
not a mansion. That is a compound. That's a
Yeah,
fucking
that's a fucking
medieval
hotel.
castle. That is
yeah.
That's like a
It's
presidential palace of some like
Jesus.
rich
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That shit is
How
crazy.
many?
And this dude can't pay minimum wage. Dude, he's
Yes.
making a 15-year-old work past 10, like 10 p.m.
Making them pay for their own training, buy their own
Buy
uniforms.
their own uniforms.
And that's
And
where he lives.
that's what one of the places where he lives. And he didn't get blasted before that?
Mm,
Before these leaks? Oh my God. We
mm.
got a lot of work to do, y'all. We got a lot of political education to do among our people. I can't be mad at anybody but us and the work we have to continue to do to really combat the celebrity culture in among our folks. Not that, other people don't because K-pop is just that's kind of a terrifying kind of, like, good Lord, how you can just, an entire country of young people are just, wow. But I mean, as an organizer, to see someone who espouses this evil black capitalist, and it is an evil, it is just as evil as capitalism. This idea of black capitalism can save us and financial literacy can save us. It's the hoodwink, it's the okey doke, and it is not anything, it's nothing new. It's continued on with a new generation of folks. And you see what they did at InvestFest. They got the Gen Zs who have hopped on to the crypto a bandwagon. They got them in with the old heads who have always been on the pull yourself up by your bootstraps, respectability politics bandwagon. They got some white people in there to finance that shit, and some homophobic and transphobic ass white people at that, to finance and back that shit. And they all got a little they got a little conglomerate going. Then they called it InvestFest. And they're marketing that shit to a whole new generation of folks. And we got to have something for this. We've got to have something for this push by the system to use celebrity again to eviscerate radical movements and radical thought and radical leaning, people who are looking at the system and doing things like this ridiculous folks people are calling quiet quitting, but people who are looking at the system and going, y'all are not giving me anything. I get nothing from this. So the system is redoubling its efforts to deflect people away from questioning it. And we can't sleep on the fact that they're doing that. And we can't let these folks who are running these kind of InvestFest, crypto, whatever scams continue to do this shit. So I'm like legit serious about, I don't understand why these people's homes are not being protested. Where y'all at? What y'all doing?
No, you're right. So I think we got, I don't know if you guys got a story. Oh no, I think the ear doctor is coming up for another break. Let's get ready for this. Come on up here, doctor.
Uh-oh.
I love you, man.
Hey, I'm good now. I got something in my BPM cup, so
You straight now?
I'm straight now. Also, I wanted to point out one more again. Do I have it pulled up? Yeah, check this out right here. Make sure y'all check us out tomorrow for our members. Hate mail. That is what it is called right there.
Did that have to be the pick?
You like those pictures?
Pictures.
Look at the face of hate. Oh my goodness! Like I can't stand these niggas.
Let me roll the over.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break right here on the Remix Morning Show, and yeah, let's get it. Remix Morning Show. All right, welcome out once again, everybody. So at this time, we're gonna do a music spotlight. You might have seen the sister I brought her through before. She goes by the name of Lola Lade. That's right. I say send me some music if y'all got some new music, and she said, "Hey, I got some new music." So here it. You want to hear it? Here it go. So this new song she got right here is called "You Deserve It." You deserve it. So check it out right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Nigga, guess what? I finally got to the point where I don't think of you. I heard you wanted your cake so you could eat it too. Such a surprise from you, cause I thought you wanted to work, and that's what hurts. Your biggest mistake and you know it. I see you watching and hoping. Cannot have me back, but I am not bad. I rooted for you, you deserve it. Your biggest mistake and you know it. I see you watching and hoping. Cannot have me back, but I am not bad. I rooted for you, you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. Cannot have me back, but I am not mad. You deserve it. You not have me back, but I am not mad. I rooted for you, you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. Not have me back, but I am not mad. I rooted for you, you deserve it.
All right. So that's what it is. That is You Deserve It. Real quick, that is Lola Lade. You can go check her out right here on her Instagram, Lola Lade. So that's what it is. Now, at this point, let's get back to the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
That was nice. I like
Yes,
that.
indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was hard. That was hard. I had that bounce to it and everything. You know what I'm saying? So you deserve it. All y'all deserve it. And thank you for tuning in every Tuesday through Thursday and every other day to check out all the dope shows right here. And another thing I did want to talk about is we are raising up some money so we can get this Cuba documentary out, which is another thing.
Mm.
I know Kamal can let y'all know a little bit more about that, and I'll catch y'all next break. Peace.
Thank you, doctor.
So I think we're gonna wind up doing a fall resource campaign, money campaign, and list out all the things that we have going on and some of the things we want to go on, so that we can do a proper ask of y'all. I know we're always asking here and there for little tidbits here and there from Patreon and other stuff, but it's like we're getting to a level where there's real things that we could do to improve the radical Black media landscape that we want to be centered in. And so we're going to need just a little bit more support from y'all, and we know y'all got us, kind of thing, because otherwise I'm gonna say something.
Let's just go to the next story before we devolve into
Jackie. Thank you, Jackie.
Okay.
Jackie, take the wheel.
So I have been looking at how excited the Democrats have been about the ridiculous what's it called? The
infrastructure
Inflation Reduction Act.
Inflation Reduction Act. Yes.
Yeah. So are you seeing my screen?
No, you're not sharing it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
There you go.
Da.
So let's be real about what this thing is. It is probably as big of a giveaway to corporate interests as the Affordable Care Act was. honestly, where the Affordable Care Act was a giveaway to the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies. The Inflation Reduction Act is a giveaway to the fossil fuel companies. So it's actually even worse. And this is a big deal because a lot is being made about, oh, Biden did something about climate change. He allocated money in the Inflation Reduction Act for climate change measures, renewable energy, blah, blah, blah. Well, I talked to our brother Anthony Rogers right about this last Thursday, and he really went deep into what this bill really does. But um, the Washington Post actually did some journalism and quoted him in a couple of places in this piece. But they point out, excuse me, that one of the things, and I'm trying to find my highlight because I can't, here it is. One of the things that is a big problem with the climate provisions in this legislation is that in order to get Joe Manchin, the Republican actually, from West Virginia, to
Mhm.
support it, was that Biden and the Democrats had to promise him that they would back the completion of a pipeline in West Virginia.
Not the Mountain
Yes,
Valley Pipeline.
yes, the Mountain Valley motherfucking pipeline. Yes,
Oh
yes,
no.
yes, ma'am. So yeah, so Biden sold the people out on that. The Washington Post says that the Inflation Reduction Act includes provisions that will benefit the fossil fuel industry, including a pledge to open up new oil and gas leasing leasing in the Gulf of Mexico. And by the way, these licenses are forever.
Forever.
There
Oh
is
my
no
God.
expiration on these licenses to open up for new oil and gas exploration in the Gulf of Mexico. A commitment that Democrats in the White House will complete the Mountain Valley Pipeline in West Virginia,
Oh my
and a
God.
promise to pursue a separate measure that would ease permitting requirements for fossil fuel facilities as well as clean energy infrastructure. That in particular is what I talked to Anthony about. That is devastating for Black communities, indigenous communities, frontline communities that are already living in the shadow of waste plants, fossil fuel like transfer plants or processing plants. Now, because the Democrats promised that they would ease the permitting requirement for these kinds of facilities, fossil fuel facilities, to be built, and they threw in well as clean energy infrastructure. But clean energy in this country is not clean. Okay, um, these permitting requirements currently put the onus on the fossil fuel industries to do an environmental survey where they have to report the environmental impact that their facility would have on the community that is in the vicinity of the community. And these permits, this part of the process is how a lot of frontline communities were able to legally stop a lot of new fossil fuel facilities from being built in or near their neighborhoods. The Democrats have just promised that they will take that away.
Hold on, Jackie. So it sounds as though that this government is still going to proceed with going forward with building new fossil fuel
Yes,
producing
yes,
facilities
exactly. So
in the
all
year
the
2022.
yes,
Are we talking about coal-fired plants? Are we talking about refineries? Like, is there some
it's the
specificity as
fossil
to?
fuel industry, so it's whatever the hell they want. And then they said, "Oh, but also we'll build an equal number of clean
Fuck
energy."
that shit.
No, no,
Sorry.
they won't. There's not going to be an equal number of anything. And
Nothing.
frontline communities, uh, Black folks, poor folks, indigenous folks, yeah, the Biden administration sold us out again. So, and of course, this reminds me of that Zoom call that Biden had. Remember that Zoom call Biden had with all those black leaders
Black
where he
leaders.
screamed
Oh,
on
yeah.
those people, and they were like, Mr. President, we're so glad that we're so happy. They're kissing the ring and kissing his feet and kissing his ass and being as acquiescent as they possibly could, and asking him in their ridiculous acquiescence, but please, could you do these things for us, sir? And he gets his white man attitude and basically tells those people, look, shut the fuck up. I'm the president now. So shut up.
I'll come get you in 4 years when I need you to do what I need you to do for me.
Basically.
This is, not only does the Infrastructure Reduction Act sell out any kind of climate anything, we're doomed, by the way. We're doomed.
Doomed. Like there's absolutely no way around this because these capitalists, they refuse to take their foot off of the proverbial gas. They are driving us into fucking extinction and into climate catastrophe, and they don't give a shit about it.
Nope. They don't care. It's Biden.
It's all about getting something passed for the midterms.
Right.
I mean, that's what it came down to. It's like, let's do the negotiations, give Manchin whatever he wants, because we need to get something passed so we can go stop on it for the purposes of the midterms. We don't care what's in there at this stage. Whatever he wants, he's going to get. Let's just throw some money in it. Because I've seen some of these reports or reviews of what the legislation is supposed to promise, but it seems to be every time there's one thing in there that might be good, there's something else in there that makes no sense whatsoever, or that's a complete reversal, including the idea of more pipelines, more fossil fuel contracts or oil contracts on public land. The idea that there's this great tax break for electric cars, but the electric cars cost $70-something thousand, and or the stipulations on what qualifies as an electric car are so much that most of the ones that are built won't qualify anyway. So these things are symbolic victories. And then it goes back to at one point when the so-called the squad folks or other folks who are supposedly the left Democrats had a chance to hold Biden's feet to the fire by doing the same thing that Manchin did to get his. It's like, we're not going to vote on this unless there are certain provisions and things that are in here. Otherwise, we're holding back our vote. So he's not, so to show that there's the one thing you can say about this dude is, whether you like him or not, right, is that he's showing you how to use power. He's not buckling under the pressure of the Democratic leadership. He's like, this is what I need to get out of it. You got your needs. This is what I got. This is the needs that I have. And if we had any kind of left contingent in Congress that was serious about doing that kind of work, other than posting themselves on social media about how bad things are, they would have held out too until the very end. It's like, why would we vote for this? There's a slim margin in the House too. We got a certain amount of votes in the House. If we can't get our way, then this is not going to fly. And then lastly, the other thing that I was reading about is how, particularly the parliamentarian tactics that the Senate and the Democrats allowed were things they took things out the bill through a parliamentarian procedure. And again, the so-called progressive Democrats did not challenge it. A procedure, people like Bernie Sanders, a procedure which is basically it takes 50 votes to get it out, right? And the Democrats allowed it to be taken out through the parliamentarian tactic, but then came back and made proposals to get those things back in there, knowing that it takes 60 votes to get them back in. So on something that they actually could have prevented from getting taken out, they did none of that. Instead, they waited for the performative part of the show, which is to say, we want this amendment in here that you just took out, knowing that they don't have the 60 votes, but they can make a speech, stand up, sound loud, have a clip for when they go back and run again, have a clip for social media. But again, they acquiesce, they took it out. I shouldn't even say they acquiesce. They agreed with the policies of allowing this kind of oil expansion and fracking and other things to go on. And then they did their job, which was to just be performative and then shut the fuck up, like we said, and go back and do your job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very concerned about the activists because in West Virginia, in Southern Virginia, and in Northern North Carolina, who have been fighting against this Mountain Valley pipeline, because these people have been literally laying their bodies out on the line. They have been chaining themselves to equipment. They have been engaging in a lot of sustained direct actions. I think they've even been doing some tree sitting also to prevent the removal and the clearing of the forest there in order to make way for this pipeline. And I'm worried now that this has the backing of the federal government, whether or not we're going to see federal agents be unleashed against these organizers. They're already dealing with the local police departments there as a part of their actions that they're doing. This is horrific. Anytime, I mean, and this is why people are correctly say that there's no difference really between these political parties. The only real issue of contention is abortion, right? That's the only thing where I see Democrats make a delineation between what they stand for and what Republicans stand for. But this is all fossil fuel extraction to the max, capitalism to the max, displacement of non-white folks off of their lands again to the max, and just an utter disregard for the future. Like, this is what I don't get. Like, like, y'all have kids and grandchildren. Like, how are these the decisions that you are making about emissions and about climate change and about the ways in which we are using energy in the future? Like, we have an opportunity here to do renewables. Solar, that shit is easy now. Like, solar is cheap. Like, why is that not the standard, the found? I know why it's not, because the money, I get it, but I mean, it's really disgusting. And the fact that there's more of us than it is of the capitalists, I mean, I don't see why we just don't go fuck them up. You know what I'm saying? Because they are going to fuck up this entire planet. The whole planet is fucked. I read a story that the PFAS, the forever chemicals, right? The shit that DuPont helped to bankroll to create Teflon, and now these chemicals are in literally every single human body around the world, in every single piece of living life on the planet, in every waterway. These chemicals are found, and now they have found them in the rainwater. In the rainwater. So there's no escaping this chemical fossil fuel hellscape that capitalism has created for us. So obviously they're not going to stop themselves, right? So what the fuck do we need to do, dog? Like, I mean, we need to be Annie up outside of these folks' houses. And shout out to all the protesters who would come up to Joe Manchin's boat, his yacht down there in DC. They were not giving Joe Manchin no peace, but still he managed to find a way to get his way.
Yeah, I mean, this is where organizing comes in. The answer to everything, the answer to all these problems is organizing.
Yes.
It's just it just is, and there is really no, people always want a shortcut. I think people want an easy answer, and I think that's just kind of how we are. But there is no easy way to address these issues. This, the first of all, there's no sense in trying, I think, to find the logic in anything these people do, because capitalism isn't logical, right? White supremacy isn't logical. Settler colonialism is not logical. It is not based on any kind of logic or reason. So these people aren't operating on any kind of logic or reason that comes out of humanity. They're just not. So I think we have to stop trying to find the logic or the humanity or the reason or whatever in the things that they do, and just see them for what they are. They are settler, colonial, capitalist dictators who their entire goal is to amass as much wealth and maintain as much power as they can, as they know damn well the empire is falling. They understand that. They know this is their desperate grasp to hold on to whatever power they can. Makes no sense, but there's no logic in settler colonialism. So what we need to do is to continue to organize. We need to connect all of these different struggles. This is not just a struggle for one group of people about one thing anymore. It actually never was. But now I hope we can see more clearly that this is a struggle that we are all connected to. Indigenous folks, African folks, poor folks, working class folks, all of these women, trans folks, queer folks. This is all of our struggle.
Yeah.
So we need to all organize in solidarity. We're not going to change these people's minds. We need to organize for what the fuck we're going to build after. That's what we need to organize for, because that's what they're doing. That they understand that catastrophe is coming, but they're making plans for well, maybe some of us can survive.
I know, but we should be the catastrophe for them. We should be the catastrophe. Like the catastrophe from Joe Manchin need to be when he look outside of his window in the morning and see thousands of people out there. Like, what the fuck is up, Joe?
Indigestion in the morning, every day. Can't enjoy his coffee, every day. Yes.
That's right. Make him retire. So you don't do this job no more. Then quit. You got another story, Jackie, you want me to pull up?
I do, and it's also still related to the Inflation Reduction Act. And by the way, we did by any means necessary. We had Professor Richard Wolff on yesterday talking about this bullshit bill. And if you can go to SputnikNews.com and find yesterday's show, it's a really great hour that we had with Professor Wolff breaking down just how worthless this bill really is. So, but again,
you wouldn't know that by watching mainstream media, because Joe Biden's had the best week ever. Look at this piece of legislation.
It's a whole celebration. It's a whole celebration for them now.
It's a whole psyop. It's a whole psychological operation they've got going on, convincing us that things are happening that are not. And not just with this bill. Don't even get me started on Ukraine. Jesus, don't get me started on that. But it's a whole the corporate media in this country is a whole psychological operation. It's a propaganda operation that is really designed to make you believe that things are happening that are not, and really to make you believe, don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe what you see, all those homeless people on the street every day. Don't believe that. That's not really happening. Biden got his bipartisan victory in the Inflation Reduction Act. So another fallout from this piece of legislation was that Biden reneged on a promise to address the issues of Black farmers. The NBFA president, James, Boyd, was rightfully pissed off. He released an official statement on President Biden's withdrawal of support for Black farmers. Why would he do that? Because the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, if you scroll down to the next, right there, that paragraph that says the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, Section 22008, repeals the American Rescue Plan of 2021, Section 1005, which provided Black, Native, and other farmers of color debt relief. So apparently, Boyd said, "I'm very, very disappointed. If you go down, I'm very, very disappointed in this legislative action." He said in response to reading the final bill passed by the Senate, "I'm prepared to fight for debt relief for Black, Native American, and other farmers of color all the way to the Supreme Court. I'm not going to stop fighting this. Discrimination at the U.S. Department of Agriculture against Black farmers was rampant and severe. Section 1005 loan repayment program was necessary to step forwards was a necessary step forwards fixing those harms. To acknowledge and correct racism is not unconstitutional or racist." Why did he say that? Because, these legislators like for you to believe that they just throw so much into these bills that, it's 1,000 pages. We can't read it. We can't possibly know what's in it. Bullshit. Yes, they do. They knew damn well that they repealed the section in the American Investment Act of 2021 that provided debt relief to farmers that were discriminated against by the USDA. That's not something you slide into a bill by accident. That's not something an intern just thinks up one day and oh, I think I'm just going to put that in. No. That's what the legislators put in. That's what the Biden administration did intentionally.
Yeah, my only critique of his fight back point was that he said he's going to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. Dog, you need to take it someplace else besides the Supreme Court.
Besides the Supreme
Yeah,
Court.
that's not the end of the battle to show that how angry you are. You're going to take it to the streets is what you're going to say. You got to do something more. The Supreme Court is going to do nothing but validate what the law is. They certainly are not going to take the side of Black farmers in terms of some sort of relief package. So that's, it's a relatively minor speaking point that I know that they're trying to make a larger point about that. And they're going to keep on fighting, but you got to keep on fighting beyond the Supreme Court. That is not the place where the battles are win or loss for us, because that's always going to be a loss at this particular stage. So
always, and again on the point of organizing in solidarity, this is a harm that was done to farmers of color, Black, Indigenous, farmers of color. And the harm continues to be done to farmers of color. So this is not an issue where we can sit here and say, oh, we're just going to fight for Black farmers. No, this is all farmers of color. Joe Biden sold out all farmers of color who were asked out by this government and who he promised. Let me tell you how horrible this really is. Joe Biden met with Boyd during the South Carolina primaries before the election to talk about the plight of Black and other farmers of color. And he promised Boyd that he would address farmers' issues. He met him again in July last year. Biden reaffirmed to Boyd that he would have a meeting with him to discuss the ongoing struggles and to deal with the delay that America's Black farmers and other farmers of color were experiencing in getting debt relief. So it's not like Biden didn't know that there were delayed. Come on, y'all.
No, like you said, that's a purposeful act, right? That's not a mistake. Everybody knows there's been too many stories about even the troubles of whatever debt relief that was promised actually reaching the farmers, right? So as opposed to fixing it, he decided, or the administration decided, Congress decided to take it out. And for whose benefit, right? So is it because you want to show, again, this white rural audience that you're not favoring quote unquote Black folks or other folks of color? So that's the only rationale that can make sense. It's like you're going to pander again to your right, but when it's election time, you're going to come back to our communities and tell us that you need our vote and all the things that you did for us and some buyback, like you lowered drug prices, but that's not going to happen for another 3 or 4 years when your administration is not in any way, when another act of Congress can quickly do what this act of Congress just did and take away something that supposedly will be good for the people. So there's no promise that's made that we can expect to be kept. That promise is going to be wiped out too, just like all the other ones have.
Mm-hmm.
It's too early. It's too early for all this. It's too early. It's too early in the morning for this, y'all. I'm so furious, more so than I ever was at Joe Biden. I mean, just in a deliberate racist with Black friends. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I haven't had enough coffee to really give a good commentary on this, but I'm very angry listening to this story, Jackie.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I talked to, like I said, I talked to Anthony Rogers Wright last Thursday. I'm gonna try to reach out to Mr. Boyd because I think Anthony knows him, and I really want to have him on to really dig down into like what the delay in even getting the payments were from the American Rescue Act, because as I understand it, there was a lawsuit that was involved in that. in getting the payments to farmers from the American Rescue Act that is just rife with racism. And I really want to get that. I want to get that information from him. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to get him on, bring him on. And before I forget, I think I'm going to start having some folks on who are doing some labor organizing. So every once in a while, I've got a couple of connects. I got a couple labor plugs who are really excited to come on Black Power Media and talk about all of the labor organizing that Black workers are doing that is getting no attention in the media. So stay tuned for that too, y'all.
And let's also stay tuned for who? The ear doctor, ear doctor, ear doctor.
Yeah. Hey, Kamal, you supposed to be on any show later?
Huh?
Oh, Black Alliance for Peace is doing. I was going to bring this up at some point. I don't have it in front of me, but later tonight I'll bring it up when we come back up. But I think at 6 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, Jackie, am I mistaken? There's a workshop on Black August. I am facilitating, moderating. We have some really good guests who are going to be on, and I'll come back with a full lineup before the end of the show, and I want people to tune in.
Is that the only thing though? Aren't you? Do we have a date?
At 3 o'clock, I'm going to be on live.
Trying to help you here, man.
I appreciate it, brother. You know, I also smoke a lot. By any means necessary, I will be on live at 3 o'clock. I'm joking. I don't really smoke. I'm just absent-minded. At 3 o'clock, the live hour, or by any means necessary, with my co-host, Jackie Lukman, and Sean, somebody might be on there.
Some guy.
Sean Blackman. Don't you do my comrade like that.
I love him. I just think we should make it. How does this sound? You know, like the three-way thing, hosting of the show.
Oh,
that's all I'm asking.
You need to get your wife's permission for all that. Come out.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Three-way, I was like,
Okie dokie. That's taking it a little bit too far for me.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Hey, Kim, what you got coming up? Anything? No show. All right, cool. Well,
Isn't it today Thursday? Why are you asking me what's happening on Thursday?
I don't know. Anyway, it was more about me. So this weekend, this Saturday, I'll be doing a Pan-African Festival. This Saturday, it's going to be pretty dope. I actually think I'm going to go ahead and do a live from the Pan-African Festival so y'all can see what's going down.
We love that.
Yeah,
I actually came last year to the festival.
Really? You was
yes,
invited?
I did.
Okay, nice. All right, so yeah, this is gonna be around your way, and actually, also, I'm going to be doing a special Black Man Lab this Friday with Ice Cube and the 3-on-3 tournament. They're coming to Atlanta for a championship, and we're gonna bring them to the Black Man Lab to talk and see what they're doing. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get to our break right here, right now on the Remix Morning Show. All right. So as you can see, I'm out here in the streets getting prepared for the street festival right now. I wanted to invite y'all out if y'all are in the Atlanta area. It's going to be very dope. We're going to have me, DJ Kemet, another DJ, a sister that's doing reggae and Afrobeat. We're going to have Masiki Scales and Common Ground Collective. We're going to have some kid drummers and dancers. It's going to be real live. But I always told y'all that I used to perform. I used to actually rap. That's right, with a band. And the name of this band is Masiki Scales and the Common Ground Collective. This one of the groups that's going to be performing there. So I wanted to give you a little bit of show you how they do and how we used to rock on stages right here. Let's get it. This is actually Masiki Scales and Common Ground Collective doing a Expensive Shit by Fela Kuti. Let's go.
I want to tell you a story about expensive fecal matter. Whoa. What I got you for you to banana? What I got you for you to banana? He go bend here, she goes. He go come out away from him. It's gonna be the last thing where he go like to see. Cause why, yo? Because they shit, they smell. Cause why, yo? Because they shit, they smell. I'll bring a woman for you to butler. I'll bring a woman for you to butler. She go bend, she goes. She go come out away from shit gonna be the last thing where she go like to see. Cause me why, yo?
Because the shit them smell.
Hey, cause why, yo?
Because the shit them smell.
Oh, brother man, for you to butler. Oh, brother man, for you to butler. No. He go bend here, she goes. From his shit gonna be the last thing where he go like to see. Cause why, yo?
Because the shit them smell.
Cause why, yo?
Because the shit them smell.
Ha! I kick, oh yeah, huh? I kick, oh yeah, huh?
All right, so that's it. That's some Shiki Scales Common Ground doing doing expensive shit by Fela Kuti. So that's what it is. Come check them out Saturday at the Pan African Festival. Y'all in town. And with that said, let's get back to the Remix Morning Show. You know how we do. All right, fix your face, Kamal. Go ahead. Say what
It's just the lyric. Yeah, I mean, I was caught off guard by the lyric. That's all.
The lyric, yeah.
I'm not mad at it, but I just caught off guard by it.
Expensive shit. That's Fela Kuti. Check that song out. Yeah. So that's what it is. Y'all mighty quiet, man. But anyway,
I have to go. Yeah.
No. No, where are you going?
I think I have to listen to the original because I don't quite remember it sounding. I think the like sound, the levels were a little bit off.
Yeah, I don't think you're like. I think everybody knows that. Like you kind of know that song, that beat, but it's like one of those things where you didn't actually really know the words.
Really realize, like, oh,
it could be. Yeah, it's like
that's what they were saying.
So when they slow it down, yeah, you're like, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah. I like that's funny because I was talking to somebody about reggae music. It's like a lot of songs we don't know the lyrics, but we just say whatever we want because it sounds good. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. And I am out for today, so I will catch y'all Saturday. Like I said, I'm gonna do a live and bring y'all out to the festival with me. So peace, y'all.
Peace.
See you, Air Doctor.
Yeah, Doctor.
Oh man, y'all have got me a little anxious about this members only thing tomorrow for the hate mail. I just don't know if we should be inviting that kind of energy. I don't know if that's
I'm gonna love it. I love to hear when people got comments, negative and or positive, like what they got to say, and it's gonna be all interesting. It's interesting.
But what if they start talking about people's like hairline, and then you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm just afraid it could get personal. Like it could get real personal beyond what is said here.
Well, we can decide what we want to answer or not. We just got to hide it from Jared so he can't look at the questions as they're happening. Because if he sees it as it's happening, then he's going to jump in there. It's like so he just gets like a 5-minute delay.
Hold on, Bucktown 917. I see what you said there. And I disagree.
I mean, we get it anyway, whenever we're doing a topic and it's, we get it anyway. We see the slick comments from people. I see stuff that people say, and I choose not to respond. But yeah, sometimes people just keep coming with their personal stuff, and it can get annoying. But I mean, that's kind of part of this gig. That's kind of
I know. I love it.
I know,
because you're from New York. dog. I mean, again, that's that energy. That's the energy I'm talking about. New Yorkers love it when niggas is hating on them because that's that fuel to the fire. Y'all get off on that. Like I don't. I want to go cry. And that's why I stopped reading the comments under the remix morning show. I stopped reading the comments maybe a few months ago. I was like, you know what? I think I'm good on these comments. I don't think I'm reading these comments no more.
No, because it's like honestly, and you recognize that some people just kind of have their own perspectives on things, and okay, that's fine. But some people do be coming with their own personal stuff, and it's just like, I am not going to let you hijack this conversation with another conversation about we need to teach people how to eat. Fuck you, man. I'm just not.
Most of the time, the comments are mad helpful, and have to, like, if I forget a name of like a place, people will pop that up in there right away because we got some historians and organizers up in there.
Yeah,
and we got Hiram. Well, Hiram is the king of hate. I thought I was the king of hate. I just don't know the conversations I've had with Hiram. That dude, that brother's the king of hate right there. I'm gonna give it to him. He needs to be popping on the show more with his fake ass job. So he's saying he can't come on. You
say that man got a fake ass job come out.
No.
and it's not like, and I don't even have good comebacks for hate. I've never been good at that. I've never done the dozens. I've never been good at that kind of type of shit.
Most hate makes me laugh. I don't even get mad at most hate. It's just most of it is, and if it's well done, I give it props. It's like, if somebody says something like even against me and it's just like, yo, that was hilarious. Okay, I can't fight back. I have to laugh at that too. I
think my response is just like, I don't have time for, bullshit. Constructive criticism, where I'm incorrect on something. Okay, fine, cool. Yeah. I said something that was, fine, cool. But all this shit I've been going through, man, do y'all really think I give a shit about your personal thing? I gotta get a whole new damn kidney. Do y'all really think I really give a fuck about your personal opinions about what I be saying? I don't. I do not.
Say that, Jackie. Say that. Definitely say that.
I mean, if you really want to put this shit in the context, for the past year, my life has been, my husband died, his son died, our dog died. I diagnosed with chronic kidney disease. I've got to have a kidney transplant. I got to go on dialysis. This is fucking life happening. You think I give a shit that you don't like my opinion on something? I do not.
Sing it. Hit that note, girl. Yes, let them sing it out. Let them know. And listen, let me be clear. Myself personally, I'm speaking specifically about the comments, the chat. The chat, I feel like me and the chat have come to a happy medium, a good understanding. So like, I don't get too bent out of shape, or maybe because my black hand got really good and maybe I don't see a lot of the shit in the chat that I used to see. I don't see shit from certain people that I used to see. I started blocking niggas for my own mental health. But that's cool. But yes, no. Tomorrow, I will participate. If y'all remember to send me the link, I will join in tomorrow.
I definitely want you on.
I'm sorry. What about haters? How come Kalanji in the chat? Why is he not here at work?
Kalanji,
we won't pay him enough. We won't pay him enough. He said we won't pay him enough.
You better get your. Because I know some of these comments is gonna be for you too, Kalanji. So you better show up here tomorrow morning.
Oh, he's gonna be there tomorrow. He'll be there tomorrow. That's good. At least 5 of us we know that'll be there tomorrow.
Lord.
I'll try. I honestly have to see what the schedule for the show is going to be. I have an appointment tomorrow, so it's actually more than like I might just be able to slide in here.
Come on now, slide in there.
Complete indifference.
See, now it's more so out of curiosity than anything else. Now I'm intrigued. Before I was afraid. I had some hesitation, some trepidation. Now I'm a tiny bit intrigued.
I was gonna say, Kim, did somebody just put this up? I missed it. It says we love Kim in the chat. People love you in the chat. You and Jackie, y'all are fan favorites.
I appreciate that, y'all, but I think I blocked all my haters though. So I mean,
I believe in blocking people. I don't understand where people get this rule where, oh, on social media, if you have a platform, you can't block people. Who said? I'm not gonna let somebody sit up in my house and talk shit. What you mean I can't block people off my? What is wrong? Where do people
I
come
think I've
up
only
with this
blocked
stuff?
one or two. The only people I block are folks who like I know who are attempting to harass, and I have some real life relationship, and I was like, B, you just get on my nerves. So, but for the most part, like, you know, to be honest, no bad to anybody, but I don't even read the comments. You know what I mean? Like in Twitter and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, oh, people like it, cool. And then they're like, every now and then you'll flash on something, and you whether you think it's smart or not, or stupid, just like you just keep on going or whatever. It's a networking platform. These things. That's what I see
Yeah,
them as. So
it's
it's like, you
true.
know, personal opinions. I don't know you.
But see, we're
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit we're a little bit older than folks who put all of their personal, like when I mean when I remember when the internet was created. I'm not even being the y'all think the internet was always around. It was not. The internet's probably like what, 20 years old? I
no.
mean
I mean,
25. No,
About
seriously.
30 now.
Look,
realistically, more like 40, I would say.
is
But
it? Well,
commercially accessible internet for
well,
everybody,
that's
probably
what
about
I mean.
25,
Yeah,
maybe
you
about
know,
25
the
years.
World Wide Web, I should say.
15,
I was in
20.
high school
Yeah,
in the
about
90s.
28 to
Yeah,
30 years, like about 90, 95, 98.
yeah,
Yeah.
about 95. So it's
Mhm.
like I remember like having this conversation with my mom when MySpace was a big deal and all of these people, you know, I was in these chat rooms and getting to know people from all around the world, and it was great. And my mom was like, you look, you don't know these people, you don't know those motherfuckers. Those is probably some crack ass motherfuckers trying to steal your money. You be careful what you put on the internet, because that shit is forever. And don't you put your picture out there. And so
That's
I
the energy
see
we
that.
come, yeah, with our kids at. We come with that same, is like that's still that last generation.
Mhm.
Because,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, and again, this is just me. I'm not saying nothing about all the rest of y'all who do this. I just don't understand the videos of like 1 minute I'm crying, 1 minute I'm happy, 1 minute I'm melancholy, 1 minute I'm angry. Like when people do those kind of things, and it's like their personal life, they're just boom, boom, boom on social media, then it's something that makes me like, oh, okay. Like, you know, I don't like, is that the purpose of it? And again, it's just like that generational thing of like, it's not my go-to space for like when I'm upset. It's like my first thing is not to like film myself being upset. But I think that's something that's a generational thing where folks do that now. And I'm still catching on to oh, I just have never done that. You know what I mean?
No, like first of all, I mean, social media. I'm trying to think. I mean, I remember being in AOL chat rooms when I was a teenager, and you know, interacting with people that way. But right now, like I am on a social media hiatus. Like I'm not really posting or even looking at Twitter, just because, you know, all these studies that talk about the detrimental effects on young people's psyche, on their self-image, or their self-esteem. And the effects of how that social media has on all of those things. Please believe all that applies to adults too. Like social media is not good for your psyche, is not good for your self-esteem, it is not good for your self-image. And I will take periodic breaks off of it, just because I feel myself being literally exhausted by it. And I'm not even talking about necessarily participating and going back and forth with conversations and dialogues with people. I'm talking about literally reading the shit on my timeline is enough to send me into a funk. Like, God damn, like this news is terrible. Our politicians are terrible. This economic system terrible. The state of the planet terrible. So I just have to unplug and disconnect from it from time to time. But social media, I mean, it's really strong. But I appreciate having grown up at least in a period where I knew life before social media. You know what I mean? So I have something else to reference. Being away from these electronic devices, knowing what it was like to just go and just be a kid and just go, and nobody knew where you were. And, you know,
Yeah.
like nobody knew exactly where you were. You just had to trust that you was gonna come home.
And don't you read all those stories that say that's like the very people who invented some of this technology, they don't let their kids use it, right? So the
Yep.
very people who invented, they know that it's there to get you addicted. And I agree. I think even individually, like my attention span has shifted post either reading things on the phone or more social media. I didn't even think of email as social media, but that is part of what some folks consider like the first kind of wave of something that was introduced. You know, we look at it as like, oh, this easy communication system, but it was introduced to get your eyeballs there, checking constantly about who emailed you. And then there's the scrolling ads up front. Of course, there's the ads that seep in there and all the spam and stuff like that. But that stuff is literally, you know, changed the way in which how like I read, what I read, how much I can read. There's other factors too, of course, but like, so it's not, it's obviously not some just objective force that's meant to be like, oh, here's a good way to share information. Here's a good way to get with your friends, right? People are literally trying to get you to spend as much time as possible with incentives of like having clicks and likes and the rest of it, so that you spend less time doing other things, and they can use those eyeballs to sell your information, to sell to advertisers and the rest of it, because they've got us captured looking at something, which doesn't mean I don't think social media has positive attributes, of course, because I think it does in terms of decompressing like the way we get news, which I think some of that is great. Like, so we no longer have to, people no longer rely on mainstream media. You know, it's not a critical mass by any means, but people don't rely on mainstream media for the official stories anymore. And people can actually critique the official stories as they come out. And so that part, when I see kind of like what I consider to be smart commentary or something that calls out something that's like, wow, we could have never, and then it could reach like 5,000, 10,000, however amount of people, is like, that's fantastic, because otherwise people would not have had that alternative take, because they just would believe what the standard media says and their viewpoints on it. So that, you know, in that way, I think social media has done a good job of sort of flattening the plane somewhat of what we get in terms of propaganda, and just the ability to meet folks like you guys who I maybe have never met if it wasn't for things like social media and the World Wide Web and the discourse that we're having all the time. So
I think I did meet you once, Kamau. I met you once at the Real News.
In person?
In person, I want to say.
Really?
Because I think it was when Paul J was still there.
Yeah.
Were you did you appear at the Real News when Paul J was still there?
I used to be on the Real News. At one point I was on the show, one of their shows, like almost like once a week. I worked there and helping them with fundraising for about 6 months. And because of the work that I did when I was with the Quakers, they had an office in Baltimore. So every now and then I would go out there, and me and Paul would meet up and talk and chat and all that kind of stuff. So I had at one point he offered me a job to be the I don't know, what would you call it, like the manager of the place or whatever. But I knew that wasn't going to be it, because he needed to, but ultimately, you know, was part of his downfall, from what I understand, is that he needed to have a separation from employees because of issues of language and temperament and interference. And he was he's even older than me. He was an old dude who wanted to do things an old way, and folks would come up with ideas and they just would get squashed or whatever like that. But I was just like, man, I can't be your buffer, because if I agree with the staff or against something and you don't, then you're going to try to tell me what to do, and I'm going to be like, I can't move my whole family here for that. That's just going to be crazy.
Look at Kamau reading the situation accurately.
One of the very few times in my life I was like, yeah, this is not going to work.
Clearly.
You're clear. Even though I like Paul, I was like, you're clearly a white man who wants to be in charge. I will not be able to work under that.
But I thought I met you, and I thought I kind of gritted on you, like, look at this light-skinned ass.
You did? Come on now. You won't be gritting on me.
I might have gritted on you, Kamau. I don't know.
Well, look, I gotta go, y'all. Gotta get ready for the show. We got an interview, a great show today.
Yes.
No, 15 more minutes.
Nay.
No, I have to look. 15. I get on this. I hang out with y'all from 8 o'clock to whenever I can. I have a whole 7-minute monologue I have to write at the top that goes to the top of the show. We got 3 interviews we do. We pre-record. Then we do a whole live hour. I love y'all, but dang, come on, y'all look needy.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
We are.
We're your inbox. We're your social media. We're gonna stress you out. Where you going?
Right, Jackie.
So yeah, excuse me. Kamal will be our guest today for the live hour on By Any Means Necessary, and please also go back. Also go back and check out. We had Dr. Sharice Burden-Stelly the other day. Oh my gosh, it was so wonderful. But real quick, IFCO Pastors for Peace have put out a call for donations for Cuba. Everybody knows about the fire that happened in Matanzas in Cuba. There is a lot of aid going in. The fire is under control. But of course, because Cuba is still under the criminal blockade by the United States, they have a hard time getting materials to rebuild. So please check out IFCO Pastors for Peace. They're a reputable organization. I've gone on the brigade, one of the brigades that they sponsor to Cuba. Beautiful people. And so if you donate to them, your money will go to Cuba. So thanks a lot, y'all. See y'all later. Peace.
Bye, Jacqueline. Bye. So, Kamal, looks like it's just me and you.
The person who you gritted on. So I got one story I do want to share or do. And then
I probably did grit on you. I think I did.
You did?
I think I'm perfect because I'm mean. I'm not really I'm kind, but I'm not nice. Not in that way. I'm not a nice person.
On first blush, you didn't give me a chance. You was like, who's this light skin? That's it. Damn.
Maybe, dog.
I probably was too close to Paul. He was probably showing me around or something. Because they had that nice building.
Beautiful building.
They still got that building. And that was like they got money from some rich dude, of course, who bought the building for them.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like they had a lot of studio space with them like that. So
yeah,
a good space. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't invite me on no more though. I don't think the new crop of people don't like me no more. So I don't ever get no invite.
I'm pretty sure they probably just don't know that you would probably come on and do the thing.
I don't think they actually like me. No, I think it's more like because it went from being on almost all the time to like, oh, we don't call this nigga no more. So it's not like an accident. It's like people being like, we don't want that. It's two revolutionary black nationalists for it. It's like, we don't want that perspective.
Is he on that same platform with Jared Ball?
Probably, yeah. Which I respect. Paul, even though we had differences politically, he was a solid leftist. He was willing to have discussion and debate, and he would sort of stretch within his realm of being able to stretch the platform to have discussions that were integral to the black community, knowing that he came into a space that wasn't a white space. Partly he hired some folks to try to make that look better. But I think he had real politics, or has real politics, I should say, on making sure and trying to make sure that the space was a place that covered in-depth news in Baltimore and national news from a left perspective. So I give some credit for that. I think they,
absolutely. I would agree with that. I agree with everything that you just said. My only thing is one of my takeaways, one of my lessons learned from there is, as soon as white folks start talking class first over race and want to argue you down about the shit, let me tap out of that conversation before we even start, honey. That's not a conversation I'm willing to have, that I want to have, and I'm not having it with white people. I'm not gonna do it.
No, I'm with you on that. I got this. Good. Oh, you want to say something real quick?
Your story. What story you got?
So I got this story. The Florida governor, who we know is going to run for, president. DeSantis wants retired cops, firefighters, and EMTs with bachelor's degrees to help fill teacher shortages, because they have real life experience and teaching colleges are taken over by ideology.
Lord.
So this dude, the state of Florida is experiencing a teacher shortage. And his idea is to put cops in there to teach, because DeSantis hit out at the state of schools and called them overtaken by woke ideology, and identified that as the reason teachers don't want to join. So he's literally saying teachers don't want to join because people are, at least in his words, having sort of a progressive streak. At least he thinks that, whatever he thinks that is. And so he's claiming not the salaries, not anything of that nature. He thinks that's the reason they don't want to join or be teachers, not the conditions of having to teach or whatever. It says why
He doesn't think that. That's his spin. That's
Mhm.
his spin. All of the shit that he passed specifically in Florida, don't say gay, no critical race theory, quote unquote, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like that, he is the reason. That's the reason why teachers don't want to come to Florida and teach, because they don't want to be arrested for teaching that segregation was wrong, right?
True.
Oh, anywho, continue.
Oh, just really quick. So it says while retired law enforcement and first responders must have a bachelor's degree due to current regulations, DeSantis touted a $4,000 bonus for those who sign up and a further $1,000 for positions that are experiencing severe shortages. Let me see if there's anything else that I think is of.
Let me add to that, because I know a little something about that. So, in addition to DeSantis calling for retired first responders to come out of retirement and start teaching public school, several weeks ago, he also made a similar announcement where he would be allowing military veterans to come into Florida's public schools and teach without a bachelor's degree. I think they only need 60 college credits and need to be working towards their advanced teacher certification. But he was like, yeah, like our servicemen and women who have been in the theater of battle to have the best experience to come teach children. I said, they do? Are you sure? Are you sure about that? I don't know if I want a Bama with PTSD standing up in front of my children teaching them.
That sounds like the craziest thing in the world. Yeah, exactly. They're gonna have their guns on them, teaching about what? It's like, that's the craziest thing in the world. The last thing I wanted to hit on real quick was there was a line in here that said what the shortage was, which was, while the Florida Department of Education estimates in February, they would need to fill approximately 9,000 vacant teacher positions. The Florida Department of Economic Opportunity found 5,837 open teaching positions online in June, up 53% from June of last year, basically. So that's what's happening in Florida, where no one wants to go to that. I think it's obviously what you said, that no one wants to go teach in there because he's turned it into such a right-wing hub of disinformation that people are just like, I can't even deal with that on a day-to-day basis.
But not only that, Kamal, but for one, there's a nationwide teacher shortage, and some people think that even the phraseology "teacher shortage" is a misnomer. Like, that's not really what's happening. What's happening is that teachers are being driven out of this profession from a combination of things. So the pandemic showed that, number one, this society has very little regard for teachers, for their health, for their mental health. A number of older and teachers who had chronic conditions and who were immunocompromised have retired out of the profession because there are no COVID mitigations in place going back into this school year this fall. Many of the HVAC systems, and air filtration systems in these public schools have not been upgraded. Mask mandates have gone away. And in some places, kids are not even required to be vaccinated against COVID. So teachers are looking at that like, well, that is like my literal actual personal health at stake here. Maybe I should not be doing that. I also read a study, or rather a report from the EPI, the Economic Policy Institute, that talked about how over the past 2 decades, teachers compared to comparably educated non-teachers, white collar workers in the workforce, have seen their wages remain stagnant, and teachers are I think being paid like roughly 21 to 25% less than comparably educated non-teachers out in the professional world. So we're not compensating teachers. We're not making sure that they're remaining, that the working conditions for them are healthy and optimal for them to stand in front of a classroom in front of 30 little germy children and stand there and teach. And the privatization of public schools, Kamal, people think that all this shit is being thrust onto public school teachers in order to hasten the privatization and the funneling away of public dollars from public schools into this private school system. And I think, wasn't there even a Supreme Court decision earlier this year that ruled, I think in Maine, that private schools were entitled to the same level of public funding. I may be misstating that some, but something along those lines. I mean, this is a long game, Kamal. I think what we're seeing now is like the end result of a long game of not compensating teachers to what they deserve, and obviously the continuous disfunding of public schools and the funding of the police state and the military state away from education. But how come defund the public schools is not controversial when that's what's actually been the policy position going back like decades?
No, you're right. No, I think everything you said is completely correct. The only thing I add on quickly, also, I assume part of it now is the scare of, even though they still are supposed to be relatively rare and happening, but the scare of the shootings, right? And that happens in school, and teachers feeling unprotected, unsafe, unguarded. That would also be an issue that would drive folks away from the education profession. So yeah, I mean, I just think when you laid all that out, it's like, I mean, we've all known for years how badly teachers get paid. And again, we mentioned this a little bit the other day, was how much more they're asked to do, right? And, you know, even if I think teachers are not always on their game, let's say there's issues around, you know, I'll probably come from the other perspective, of course, of DeSantis. Is like, I wish teachers, the people who are teaching my kids actually knew more or did think out the box more. But with all of that said, it is an extremely hard job to ask people who are trying to teach to actually be social workers, conflict resolution artists. Now they're asking them to be security, apparently. And people are always arguing, no matter what position you take, over what actually is being taught in school that makes them feel like, you know, what the hell? And on top of not being respected as a profession and the low salary, relatively speaking, right? I mean, they're throwing money at cops. They give homes to cops and fire folks free of charge in some places, or with very low interest rates or no money down. They don't do that widespread for teachers. They don't. The only time the teachers get attention is when they strike or when they say they have to speak up for themselves to do it. Otherwise, it's like it's a silent protest because they just don't get the respect that they deserve.
No, teachers have clearly quiet quit on this situation. But Kamal, let me ask you a question. I mean, as a parent, you know, do you want Officer Johnson coming in and teaching your child social studies? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, what does that do? Because I'm like, okay, when you have these former military and these former police officers standing in front of a classroom teaching, I'm like, are you conditioning the children to sort of accept a police state very early on in so-called soft targets, I suppose? You know what I mean? Like,
that's exactly what this dude is doing. Like, I mean, I think that's exactly. He is in his mind, like buffering up or putting up a propaganda wall that says he probably wants them to teach in their uniforms, right? To have these folks be respected from way low in terms of like the early age kids, where again, that propaganda is in there. They already do things in schools where they have, and we all know this, right? Where they invite it's fireman day, it's cop day. They come with the squad car, they ring the thing, whatever like that. What kid isn't going to get excited about? Even kids that are exposed to sort of like other things that we teach them, and they feel a certain way about the police already, and we tell them to be on guard about it. And once they ring that siren, right, for the next like hour or so, that's all gone. It's like, isn't he a good one? It's like, no, who told you to get in that car? You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that's like a breaking point. Like if Kalaji spoke about this far more eloquently the other day, but if my kid ever had a cop that I knew was a cop as a teacher, and they were brought in under some program like this, that's the end of the school for me. That's it's like there's no coming back for that, because you are clearly now, you've agreed to engage in a state function propaganda war to get my kids to think that police are here to provide safety for them, as opposed to being oppressors and exploiters of the community. There's no middle ground with that one, right? So that stuff is just like crazy. That and again, this is the state of politics in the United States, where this dude is a leading candidate for president, right? If it's not a Trump on the Republican side, this dude is the other person. There's Pompeo also, I think, who's going to run. But a person like this, DeSantis, is the other person who, with those politics, is clearly a front runner in the Republican Party, and clearly someone who can get elected in 2024 as the Democrats continue to themselves try to move to the right to get those same voters. That's the state of politics in the United States.
No, I mean they're all bad, but DeSantis is scary because I feel as though he's a sharper Trump. You know what I mean? Like he's not as goofy and sort of awkward, and you know he's an idiot, but he's a sharper idiot than Trump. So he's a slicker, better package, you know, better spoken. DeSantis is a scary one. I'm glad he and Trump don't like each other, at least allegedly. Who the fuck really knows?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that they're going to battle it out in the primaries, but I think you're correct. I think that's the scariest thing because it's fascism with some intelligence to it, right? And so it's like this idea of, you know, again, I'm one of these folks who believe that fascism has already been here, particularly for certain communities, but the extension of having someone who just doesn't sort of fall into sort of fascist ideas because someone told the last person who spoke to him told him this was a good idea. But someone who clearly has that ideology makes it even more scary, right? Because that's, like you said, that's somebody who they're going in, even if they're propagandizing, they know exactly what it is that they're trying to do and get. And so they're going to double down and triple down, and they're not going to stumble into shit. They're just doing it full tilt, full scale. So.
Cray. Anyway, guys, that is the show, Remixers. We appreciate everybody tuning in today. If you don't mind, on your way out, would you please hit the thumbs up on the video, please, so YouTube can be aware that you all like the programming that is featured here on Black Power Media. Kamal, so you are going to be on By Any Means Necessary this afternoon at 3 p.m. and then the Black Alliance for Peace webinar I'm sorry, maybe am I calling
no you're right. Black Alliance for Peace webinar, Black August in Action, local organizing to free political prisoners. Myself again facilitating 2 Black, actually from who also is part of a Black Power Media, is going to be on to talk about the Defense Committee to free the Pendleton 2, and then Tone, the organizer from the Boston BLM, is going to be on. He's also part of BLM 10 Plus to talk about all the work that they're doing for Black August, the reason for Black August, and supporting political prisoners and commemorating people like George Jackson and others who were assassinated by the state. So come on out. That's going to start at 7 p.m. If y'all check out my social media on Twitter, I'll throw it back up there again, or check out Black Alliance for Peace to find out more information about it.
So I suppose members of the channel, you can join us back here tomorrow, Friday morning at 10:15 a.m. for our first ever edition of Hate Mail, Black Power Media style. I am very reluctant about this, but I will be there. I will be present. So if you are already a member of the channel, I guess we'll see y'all tomorrow morning with your hate mail. And if you want to send us some hate mail, I guess you could do that. But if you want to see the show, you should join the channel and support it as a member. You can also support the channel via Patreon. That's patreon.com/Black Power Media. Cop you some merch as well. Kamal K. Franklin.
Burn it down, Kim Brown.
Mr. Manana, my guy. Thank you on behalf of the Ear Doctor, and of course on behalf of Jackie Lukman. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. Who is taking us out of this broadcast today, Kamal? Is it you? Is it I?
No, I think Ear Doctor goes put that up. Put it up, Ear Doctor.